What's up, everybody? Dungeon Master Tim here. I'm here today to talk about something that I feel goes a little unrepresented in our in tabletop gaming, and just kind of wanted to talk about storytelling a little bit, and just kind of like how storytelling works in the TTRPG space, and like how it becomes more a group effort if done correctly than just one guy writing this story. I've been playing for a few years now, and the best times we've had in the game is when I have as a dungeon master, have left things very open and let the guys do their thing. And to me, not yet in a way sandbox, but not sandbox. But storytelling in this game is something that I think goes underrepresented or misunderstood, if you will, as the biggest part in what makes, I think, tabletop games is the story that you create. Even if there's a story that you're trying to follow, I think it's the pieces in the story that you and your players collaborate on and create. The storytelling is really what makes the game what it is. I mean, the players can do, all the combat they want and this, that, and the other thing, but at the end of the day, it's that resolution that we look for. It's the plot. And to me, I think what makes campaigns that are really good so good, and a matter of fact, is the fact that it's the collaboration between the players and the dungeon master, because the players so graciously take what the dungeon master gives them and goes, okay, let me see how I can push this, or it's, okay, he gave me the platform, let me see, I know I could do this, or I'm going to try this. But that's what makes this game great, because the Dungeon Master, they may create this incredible, elaborate story and have it, fixed out, but it rarely goes that way. This is something that it's just something you do as a Dungeon Master. You have to be able to pivot. It's the improvisation of our game. But to me, I think it's understated just how great storytelling can be with a group of friends at a table in a world where I feel like Hollywood and the world around us, and even a lot of the books, it's just copy and paste of old stories written differently, where I feel like TTRPGs, whether you're playing Cthulhu, whether you're playing D&D, whether you're playing Pathfinder, whatever system you're using, Warhammer, whatever it may be, I feel like the stories we get out of these tables, they may be slow burns because campaigns can take very long time. But I feel like if the stories you get from a group of friends at a table is better than what writers are writing in screen rooms right now, on TV or in the movie theaters. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's good writers in that, but I just feel like the storytelling and the human aspect of creativity and imagination is better presented in the TTRPG form. That's why I started playing this game. I wasn't very social. I wasn't good being around people. I always got uncomfortable, but I always liked telling stories, and I liked creating things and seeing what people did with them. And I took this game as my opportunity to do so. And that's, to me, is why I made this video. Is like, I wanted... Storytelling is such a great thing, but it's also an awesome way to express yourself. Like, you don't realize the things you say more about you than they actually do. And I feel like this game is one of those things where you either wear your heart on your sleeve or you hide yourself. And that's why I love TTRPGs, because you're either going to be the person you are or you're not going to be. But there's no line in between it, because you're going to show who you are with your imagination and your creativity and like just the attitude you bring to the game. Like my guys, they bring an awesome attitude every single week when we play. But to me, it's more than that. It's the best thing to me from this game of the storytelling aspect was my first campaign. I wrote down everything. I had to have every idea, every detail done, and like I wouldn't railroad them, but it was like, you sure you want to do it? Like, kind of pushing them away. But it was like, okay, we could do that, but what about this? What I've learned is like, it's cool to do that, but the best joy at the table is when you have all the brains of the table working on one to create an awesome story, because you're creating it out of the joy and out of these characters that you create. And at some point, you become enamored with your characters. You become your characters just because of the time you've spent with them. I mean, we're at this point, we're 48 episodes into our campaign, and that's 3 hours a week. That's a lot of time playing a character that you just made up. But it's interesting to see how through that time you kind of develop that character's personality, and it creates a story in and of itself, And that's, to me, the players deserve just as much credit, if not a little more, for how a D&D campaign or a TTRPG campaign turns out. Simply because you could be a dungeon master with the greatest ideas in the world, and you could be creative as all ever and just have all these awesome ideas and cool things. But if the players don't have the creativity, imagination, and just the wherewithal to push the limit, to try different things, it makes it very boring. It makes it very rigid. When I feel like the best times at this table is when my players personally, I've come into a situation and it's like, okay, this is what they're going to do. I've thought of, okay, they could do this, they could do this, they could do that. I don't go much farther than that. I try not to because it bogs it down. But it's at a point now where it's like I may have a plan and there's 12 ways they can go about doing this. Well, guess what? They just found number 13. Let's roll with it. I want to see what happens here, 13. I mean, right now, that's what this is about. It's the creativity, the joy, and just the camaraderie of friends at the table. But it's the storytelling that comes out of it that I think we often forget about. I mean, the stories that come from these tables of our TTRPG players with friends, the stories that people have come up with are just amazing to me. And the creativity and the imagination and just people's ability to do such a thing it's incredible. And I honestly think it's everybody should play TTRPGs is the point I'm getting to, because it is the greatest way to express oneself without really there's feeling the fear of you're going to get judged, because it's a game. It's fun. Life's a game in many aspects, but I feel like this game is the chance to really loosen up. And with it comes incredible stories. I mean, some of the stories you can get from this game. My players literally at one point, they were just trying to find somebody, and they decided to go pretty much Kool-Aid Man. One guy hid behind a wall while the other dude hid under the bed, waiting for someone to bust through the door to alert them, while the other guy burst through the wall. And instead of just knocking on the door later on and be like, hey, we were looking for you, this is how they decided to track him down, and this is what they decided to do. But it made the moment, because it was like, I didn't think they were going to do this. But that's the beauty of the storytelling, because I feel like the greatest thing is when you get to an end of a campaign, and this is my view as a dungeon master. I've only finished one campaign, 2 years long we played, a 2-year-long campaign. But in my perspective, the coolest thing about this game and being a dungeon master is when you get to the end and you're kind of you finish it, but there's that moment of clarity of wow, this is the story. And you really see through, your brain kind of replays that whole thing that you created for your players, and your players, took them to themselves in their own way. But to me, that was the best thing, was after finishing the first campaign, it was how did they get there? And then it's wow, they did this to do that, that was insane. I mean, I had a player fall into Vecna because I was a new DM and just was well, let's try everything. But, I mean, just the way things turn out because of the storytelling and just the ability to tap into your creative thoughts and your imagination, something that I feel like a lot in the world today is suppressed by the world around us. But to me, it's an incredible thing. And like I said, everyone should play these games. It doesn't matter what type of TTRPG you play, but just get at a table and play with some friends. Somebody come up with some stupid story, or copy stories from Hollywood if you have to, because you're gonna just run with it, but you'll end up changing it because you're all different creative thinking. I mean, some of my best ideas have been references to movie. I have a buddy who literally sits at the table and plays, and he calls out my references. It's like he reads my mind. But that's the beauty of it, is you can have this okay, yeah, I got this idea from this movie, I want to do this. But you can do it and it not turn out anything like that just because of the different minds at the table don't see it, Even if it's something they love, you could put it right in front of their face and they're not going to realize the plot is something they enjoy. But that's the beauty in it of, is you create these stories that I really think are one of a kind. Every campaign to me is one of a kind in many regards because of the storytelling. And just it's not one writer, it's however many writers are sitting at that table and giving that time whenever you play your sessions. And the DM is just the guy there in the background who kind of just he sets the foundation for it, which is it's the greatest thing. But I feel like to say that the DM is the storyteller and that is a fallacy, because I think what makes a great campaign and just a great time at the table is when everybody's brain is in that same space of creativity, imagination, and hey, we got this, I got this, okay, we're going to try this, I'm going to try this. You sell a story like a story written. I mean, the best stories in the world that are out of true stories are just, they randomly happen, but they happen in such a way that they become these magnificent stories and wonders and myths to us. We have that ability to do it at TTRPG tables. So I'm rambling at this point, and I've been rambling this whole video, but that's just who I am as a person. But that's why I wanted to make this video, was just like, I wanted to express and show my passion of like why this game is so incredible to me is because of the storytelling and the camaraderie and the joy, the creativity and the imagination you get to see on display at the table in the end result. And not even sometimes the end result, just the result of the end of a session of like, holy cow, we just did that. They just did that. The story with what? How did they? But to me, that's the beauty of this game that we call, TTRPG, tabletop role-playing games. We all love them. If you're seeing this video, I'm assuming so. But to me, I wanted to talk about that real quick, and it probably sounded like a madman rambling. In some ways, it was. But I just wanted to express why I love this game. And I hope I got across. It's the storytelling. And the storytelling is such an important aspect. But I think it's underrated in the way that people don't give it the respect that it has, when it is what makes the games as great as they are, is the story you're creating with your friends, with people you enjoy spending time with. But with that, I'm just gonna leave it up there with you for today, you guys. I appreciate it if you watch this video. Leave any comments down below. Make sure you subscribe. We appreciate all the views. I appreciate all of it. And if you ever want to join us, we're always trying to get more people at our table. We play out of Northern Illinois. If you want to play with us, follow us on Facebook. We're, Manistee20 TTRPG on Facebook. We would love to see you guys. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love to play with you guys if you live around here. But I'm not going to ramble anymore. Everybody have a wonderful time. Have a great life. I hope everyone has a beautiful life. And play TTRPG. Tell a great story with some friends.